then Cole was straight up, he was like, don't embarrass me.
No.
Like, and I'm like, you're so right. Like, he's like, I'm like fine. He's like, I can, like, he's like, I don't need my little sister to like fight my battles for me. And he's like, you like don't want to bring like unwanted attention like onto yourself. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you ate that little one thing.
You ate that little one. I'm gonna give you that. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do I Know You? I missed y'all so much. Do y'all still recognize me? Actually, you should, because it's me, Jordy Ray, your beloved host and creator of Do I Know You. I have missed y'all dearly. There's been a lot going on, but we're back at it. Actually, we never left. And this week, I have my dear friend, Ella Anthony, who's joining us this week. I feel like there's been a lot of motion on the show since I was last here giving y'all an episode. So I kind of want to reintroduce the show very quickly and just make sure we're all on the same page before Ella just gives us this goodness. So Do I Know You is a show that I created about truth, about authenticity. It's about honesty. It's about identity. At its core, it's about identity. And it's about really just owning who we are, however that looks like. So we just do it from the lens of siblings and children of celebrities because it's a very unique perspective and it's very near and dear to my heart and the life that I've lived. But it applies to literally everybody. It applies to you. It applies to your uncle. It applies to your teachers, grandmothers, best friends, niece, because that's how universal this theme of identity is. So this week joining us is Ella Anthony. Now, Ella and I actually have a mutual friend, Kayla, who I love and adore and could literally speak about her for an hour about how amazing she is and how amazing Together is. But I'm so happy we were connected because she is here to give us just such amazing perspective. I really loved every minute of my conversation with her. So Ella's dad is Greg Anthony, who's a really big NBA analyst, and her brother is Cole Anthony, who's an NBA player. He's a point guard with the Orlando Magic. So, and he's a first round draft pick. So you can just see there's like, she's getting it from kind of all angles. But she is like literally so incredible. And from what I learned in the interview, her mom's like, she described her mom as like Barbie, which like she's doing it all. So I really think that her perspective is really necessary on the show because we talked a lot, I guess, about like redirection and navigating like disappointment and even things like jealousy, things that I think sometimes we're afraid to talk about. So this is a conversation that was healing for me. It was necessary, and I hope it is for you as well. So without further ado, Ella Anthony. Okay, so I want to get into you and like, I just feel like there's a lot to tap into here. So how would you describe yourself? Who is Ella Anthony?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I'm a friend, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a cousin, I'm a writer. I'm really passionate about writing. I'm really passionate about environmental justice, women's sports, and MMA. Those are like all my favorite things.
Woo! Here's one thing. I just love Black women because I feel like our interests, like, they know no bounds, like,
Literally.
at all. Like, you know, Stacey Abrams, like, she literally is like a politician, and then she also is like a romance novelist. It's like, who can?
She's such like a boss.
She's such a boss, but like that's literally what you're giving. So, I guess you also are an athlete, right? Or were you? Did you used to play basketball?
So yeah, I grew up playing basketball. I actually did a fifth year of high school. I did a PG year for basketball. So the plan was to play in college. It didn't end up happening. Honestly, looking back, very lucky that my path kind of played out in that way in the moment. As it was freshman year of college, I'm like thinking I'm going to be playing. I was going to be walking on.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. And that was kind of like a really humbling moment for me. I kind of had to step back and ask myself, like, who am I, like, outside of basketball? But the end of my basketball career kind of overlaps like the beginning of me getting into MMA. So I'm really into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, and I'm still a white belt, so I'm not like crazy, but like I've competed a couple times, and I don't know. I feel like I really express myself through like physical activity, and MMA is kind of like an outlet, like a similar outlet that basketball
Right.
was for me. Sure.
So this is amazing. I have 10,000 questions from this. I guess my biggest one is, how does one casually find themselves into like MMA? Like, was it something that was like always in the back of your mind? Did you like stumble across a TikTok? Like, I feel like that's kind of niche, is it not?
It's actually kind of funny. I used to be really into WWE. I was a WWE.
Period.
So like, no, I like legit, I went to live events with my mom. I went to a meet and greet. She took me to this one meet and
Wow.
greet. I was bawling. Like I remember
Oh,
I met the WWE Diva Paige, and I met Dolph Ziggler, Seth, like I was bawling. I was probably like 13.
wow.
I'm still an easy crier, but
Me too, girl.
but yeah, so I was really into WWE. I knew what MMA was, but I honestly was like, that's bloody and gross. So I was like, I'm gonna stick with like the WWE.
Right.
I want to say when I was like 16 or something, I saw videos of Ronda Rousey on YouTube,
Huh.
and I was
Queen.
like, this is sick. Like, I was like, I love this. So it's actually really funny. I got into MMA like specifically through Ronda Rousey, and then I only started watching women's MMA. So
Wow.
for like months, I was just finding all of the like women's MMA fights that I could like on YouTube. Um, and then I want to say when I was like 17, I got the like UFC Fight Pass, and I started watching every pay-per-view, and I just like I became obsessed with it. Like I really like fixate on things. I get really obsessed with things. I have to learn everything about it.
Me too.
And like I went to boarding school, and I would literally like I would play the pay-per-views like for like 40 to 50 kids, because it was, oh my gosh, kind of
Wow.
tangent. It was we were in like a COVID bubble because it was 2020 to
Right.
2021.
Right.
And so we weren't allowed to leave campus.
Oh,
Yeah,
true. So
we weren't
what
allowed to
else
leave
was there
campus.
to do?
Exactly. And I feel like I put a lot of people on low key. I mean, a bunch of my friends were already fans, but like a bunch of people like, wait, this is so cool. And I was the one paying for the pay-per-views. So of course, they're like, I mean, it's
Look,
on.
I'll get
Yeah.
into any hobby if you're paying.
Right? Like, no, it's awesome. And then yeah, so how I started like doing it, I was already a fan. I want to say I was 19 at the time. My little brother, his friend, they had like this MMA coach come over, and my little brother was taking like Muay Thai lessons. And then
What?
I ended up doing like a private session with the trainer, and I was like, wait, this is awesome. So then I joined a gym where I live in Manhattan. And yeah, it's a great hobby. I'm really into hobbies. It's awesome.
This is amazing. And like, what a cool expression of like energy, like into something actually super powerful.
Literally. Like I think it's like one of the most magical sports. Like it's so theatrical. A lot of people don't even realize. And like I'm a big like, I mean, storyline, like I love like a great like sports story.
Yeah.
It's like one-on-one combat. You know who you're gonna fight months leading up to it.
Wow.
Everybody knows you're gonna fight. Like there's a lot of tension that builds up. I mean, there's like respect, people have respect for each other. Not everybody has beef, like some
Right.
people do, but it's just like something about having to prepare specifically for one person and knowing that person is preparing for you. It's like another level of intensity
Mm.
that it's hard to find.
Wow. That's really interesting because I feel like, with like basketball, for example, like sure they like watch tapes or they like have whatever, but like at the end of the day, you play them and then you move on. Like it's so many games and all the things, and like you're probably only watching like what 5 hours of tape, but like
Yeah,
the drama, and I live for the drama, so I'm kind of here for that.
you should check. I feel like you'd really be able to, because they're characters in the sport. Like it's
Mm.
awesome. It's really great.
This is incredible. It reminds me, do you ever watch I don't know if it was Victorious, but like the Shelby Marks fight? Maybe I don't
Yes,
even know.
iCarly.
iCarly. That's what I'm picturing. It's like you're really giving Shelby Marks.
I love it. Stop. Oh my gosh. I love that episode.
That is so cool. Wow. Okay. Well, please send me all the links of all the like, I don't know, maybe I
Yeah.
should just start looking around Ronda Rousey or something, but that is amazing. And I love the uniqueness of it. So I guess you grew up in like a basketball household. So like your dad on TV, an analyst, and then your brother obviously playing. Like, You mentioned that you played basketball for a little bit, not for a little bit, actually for a while. And then like you ended up transitioning out of that. But do you feel like, I guess I'm curious if you think that was a natural thing for you because of like passion, or did you maybe feel some pressure because of your family in the sport? Like, tell me about that.
If I'm being honest, a lot of it was kind of out of my control. So like I made the decision when I was doing my post grad year that like I had good looks from schools, but I wanted to go high academic. And
Mm.
so I ended up applying normally, which was never the plan. Like that was never the
Mm.
plan. Um, but yeah, when I got on campus, like it kind of caught me off guard, like because I got on campus expecting to play.
Mm.
So, but I think I don't know, because of the fact that it like had nothing to do with my family, it was actually kind of nice. Like it was
Totally.
really hard. Like I was pretty depressed for a little while. Like I
Mm.
was kind of like finding myself again. I'm like, who am I without basketball? Like I was
Yeah.
like a basketball girl. Like that's how people saw me.
Yeah.
But yeah, really like it was kind of it wasn't really up to me. Like it wasn't really up to my I didn't feel pressure or anything from my family. They were always very supportive
Yeah. Yeah.
with my basketball career and like everything else I've done. So like I have to give credit to my family for like pounding it into my head that I need to be like a very well-rounded individual. Like school was always very important. Also, I didn't like get like good at basketball really until like high school. So like I was always like I was doing school, like I was class president, like I, you know, like I had my, you know, Madam President. But yeah, so it was so hard, like giving up
Yeah.
on something I'm so passionate about and like feeling like it was being taken from me.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, like I'm so grateful for it. Like I'm entering my junior year. I'm doing so much at school that I would have never been able to do,
Right.
you know, had I been playing on the basketball team. And like I'm sure like I would have found a way, but it's a lot of work. Like those girls work hard. Like my friends on the team, like they're ballers and they like
Yeah.
always in the gym. Like they I remember I had a 9 a.m. class and I was on the shuttle with one of my girls on the team. And I was like, oh, I hate my 9 a.m. class. She's like, yeah, I know when we ever like 6 a.m. lifts. I was like,
You're like, let me shut up.
yeah, like okay, you
Let
got
me
it. Let me keep my mouth shut.
everybody on mute. And I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
wow. Yeah. Okay. I actually love that because I think it brings up a really good point about like rerouting and like kind of letting go of control. I think something, and I love to hear your thoughts on this, something I'm like learning is there are some plans and like dreams I have for myself that I'm like holding on to so tightly. And sometimes like I get no's or I'm like redirected somewhere else. And I just think about like, even like my life now, I'm just like, had I like the disappointment that led to this redirection, honestly, like gave me this life that I have. And it's just so weird how you can look back on things and see so clear, like, oh, that was not what I was supposed to be doing. Like, that was not the path. But how we're like, when we're in the moment, in the thick of it, like, you only feel the disappointment. Like, it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I 100% like I definitely feel that. Like I mean even like my job, like my current job, I'm working for an amazing company called Together and they're all about women empowerment and women's sports and those are two of my favorite things.
Yes. Yes. Shout out
And like
Together for the one time. They're
shout out
incredible.
Together. We love y'all. But
Literally.
I just feel like I don't know if I would be working for Together if I were on the basketball team, you know? Like so I
Mm.
totally get like, you know, it's like the whole redirection thing. And I just even calling it a redirection is such like a like wise perspective to have. Like I like
Mm.
you're not seeing it as a setback. You're like, let me
Being
just
redirected.
pivot.
Yeah. Period. Pivot.
Pivot.
Pivot. No, that's so true. And I'm so happy you're at Together now, y'all. So the way Ella and I met was actually through our good friend, Kayla. Shout out to Kayla for the one
We
time.
love you, Kayla.
We love you, Kayla. And so basically, obviously I've worked with Together and Ella is currently working with Together on the team. But she was like, Kayla was like, oh my gosh, you have to meet Ella. She's like one of our interns. She's a star. She's amazing. And as soon as I met her, I was like, oh yeah, girl, you're coming on the show, period. So we love you Together. They're so amazing.
Love
Um,
you.
but no, I mean that's beautiful perspective. And I'm really proud of you for having that because I think that's something like we're girls with like big dreams and a lot of potential. And I think like we're going to face no's and disappointment, but like always having that in the back of our minds, I think is going to like be so key. So actually hold me accountable. The next time I'm like crying about something, be like, Jordan, remember what you said, girl?
You're like, I'm gonna quote you. I'll quote you to yourself.
I hate when people quote me back to me. I'm like, here's the thing. Me 5 minutes ago, I don't even know who that was.
I don't know
Like,
her.
I
don't know her.
I'm not responsible for anything she said. Sorry. It's not my problem.
That's honestly, that's fair. That's fair.
Really? Okay, so I think something I like to do on Do I Know You is like celebrate the wins, I think, and we can talk about this more, but with our brothers being in the spotlight so much, love them and that's great, but I think sometimes our wins get a little overshadowed in different ways by just projections and all the things. So I would love to hear like what are some accomplishments maybe in the past, like, I don't know, 5 years, whatever, maybe this year that you're like the most proud of and that you're like, okay, like, I did that.
I write for the Harvard Crimson, which is our school
Oh.
newspaper. So I write for the arts board. So I do a lot of stuff with culture, do a lot of think pieces, book reviews, movie reviews. Actually, the last article I did was an article. It's called like Dr. Biden, like, can we let Black women win? It was like after she
Ooh.
invited Iowa and LSU, both teams.
Please send me the link. I need to
I
read that.
will.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, yeah, so that something I'm really excited about. I direct this after school basketball and mentoring program called Hoops. So we
Oh.
like, it's so much fun. It's like 3 days out of the week. And well, I only did 2 days, but most people you could do one, two, or well, I guess is whatever. But yeah, so we work with elementary school students in the Cambridge area, like third through fifth graders, and it's an hour of like basketball, just getting them moving, like making them feel confident, like, and
Love
it's
that.
walkable from campus, so really, really rewarding. And honestly, like since it's like basketball and we're like playing basketball with like 8 to 10 year olds, like it's kind of been like therapeutic and like healing for me, like in my relationship with basketball, like because when I
Mm.
like quit, I was like, I can't play for fun. Like I just like I don't see the point of that.
Mm.
And I would like play pickup and stuff with like my friends, but I was like, no, not anymore. Like I this isn't
Wow.
fun for me. So
Yeah.
that's been a thing. And then
Mm.
I'm reinstating and directing the Environmental Action Committee, and that is also like under the same umbrella as the other program I direct. Under it's called Phillips Brooks House Association. It's like Harvard's like volunteer network. It's all like student led like
Wow.
organizations, and that we had like a clothing swap for that, which was really cool. It was our first event
Ooh.
in the spring. We're gonna try and do like maybe like monthly or like semesterly clothing swaps, and like
Yeah.
other events. Like I'd like to do a community garden and a bunch of other stuff. And then I feel like
Not
the
there's
last
more. You're literally hurt. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
and then yeah, I mean the last like there's like other like little things, but the last like kind of big accomplishment we kind of already touched upon is this job with Together. I think finding like a job where like so many of my interests intersect,
Mm.
and it just feels like the work we're doing is like important.
Yeah.
It's like so rewarding. Like I like look forward to work, and it's I'm not gonna say it's a new feeling because I've had some awesome like jobs, but it's
Yeah.
probably my first like full time kind of job, like 5 days a week that I just love.
Oh, that's amazing. First of all, I just have to give you your flowers because that is incredible. And I think it's easy for someone so high achieving like you. Like, I think it's easy for us to like downplay our accomplishments and like not fully take up space the way some of our counterparts might. And
Yeah,
so I think you like owning it and like letting your work speak for itself is beautiful. And I'm so happy that everything is culminating together, no pun intended, literally at Together,
thank you.
because that is what you deserve truly. I
Thank
guess
you.
like, oh, okay, I have so much to say on that. So a big part of Do I Know You is like identity and like really claiming that and like living in your authenticity. So thinking about all those wins, and then I also thinking about how you like grew up and the family you have in the spotlight, like when all that kind of comes down on you, how does living in your truth kind of play out day to day? Like what does that look like for you? What does that mean to you?
It's a good question. I I'm my own biggest critic, as a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are, like whether you're related to a celebrity or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the pressure, honestly, for me came while I was still playing basketball. I remember I it's kind of ironic now, but my mom and like my family, but like especially my mom, like she was like, "You're so much more than a basketball player." And that like really got under my skin because it felt like they weren't taking me seriously, as opposed to
Yeah.
like my older brother, who he also was a lot more than a basketball player. Like he has
Right.
so much going for him, but like he was just, if I'm being honest, like objectively a lot better than I was, you know? Like
Yeah.
I was like ranked in the state, like he was ranked in the country, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it's different. And like looking back now, I'm like, they weren't not believing in me. In fact,
Mm.
like they believed in me so much that they wanted to help set me up for success. They just were aware that for me, like, and even if I was like as good as he was, and like
Yeah.
my respective, you know, like for women in New York, whatever, or in the country,
Right.
like the path to a professional sports career, like for a woman, is not as like clear cut as it is for
At
men.
all.
Like nor is the recruitment, unless again like you're like top 50 kind of thing. I mean, top 100, like
Yeah.
honestly. And like them seeing me as like well-rounded, like now, like looking back, I'm like, wow, like I'm so glad that they like encouraged me to
Mm.
do other stuff, because imagine if like I was banking everything on like
Wow.
succeeding in basketball, you know, like where would I be
Mm.
now? And like I do want to add that like I come from like an immense place of privilege in my family. Like I went to like a school where everybody went to college. Like I would have
Yeah.
ended up in college. That's not a
Yeah.
question. I'm so grateful for that. But I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be like succeeding in the way that I am. I wouldn't have the confidence to try new things. Like I didn't write for the school paper in high school. Like I was a novelist. Like I wrote books in high school. I wasn't doing journalism. And
Yeah.
like having the confidence to just like go for it. Like I have to give like all the credit to my family.
Mm.
So that's probably like in basketball is probably where I felt the most pressure. And I think now it's kind of just like it's so funny to talk about. Like I'm just lucky to be surrounded by so many talented people in like so many different fields. Like my mom, she was a lawyer and now she's a director, producer. She and my brother are making an app together. Like,
Wow.
yeah, like she's like actually Barbie. Like she's literally
Wow.
like this Barbie's a director. Like this Barbie's an author. This Barbie's also like,
She's doing it all
yeah.
as
She's
we
just
do.
like side quests at this point,
Oh my
honestly.
gosh, like this is like fun for her.
Yeah. Like so I
Wow.
think for me, like my perspective has changed and I kind of look at it as like I look to them for inspiration. Like it's easy to fall into the like comparing yourself to them and like being jealous. Like there were times where I was like jealous, like literally jealous of my brother, like in high school, because of like how well things were going for him in basketball, and like things are going really well for me, but like not to that extent. And
Mm.
now it's just like I'm like his biggest fan. Like my mom's like, I can't sit next to you at his games because you're so annoying. I'm like, thanks, mommy.
Like good, then
But
don't. Then don't.
yeah, like literally, like fine. But
Wow.
yeah, I think that's something I'm probably gonna be grappling with for my entire life.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah.
No, that is all so raw and vulnerable and honest. So thank you for that. And I can definitely relate. Like I think growing up, especially in high school, maybe middle, I don't know. It all blurs together. But I think jealousy was something that like started kind of eating at my mind a little bit. And I think some of it comes from just just knowing what potential you have and not feeling seen for it. I think that was my thing.
Mm,
I was like, everyone knows my brother and they see all his like potential, not even all of it. They see a lot of Dre's potential. They don't even know 50% of it, but like y'all are like overlooking me too. But then I think I realized like that was like me projecting my own insecurities onto people. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Who cares if they don't see it? Like, he's in
Yeah.
his lane. You need to be in yours instead of trying to be in his lane or in his thing. And so now I think that's something that's been so full circle and honestly very redeeming about this show is like my lane was always theater. It was always drama. It was always like storytelling. It was always all the things. It was never. Fun fact, when I played basketball, I remember one time they called a turnover on me. Is that what it's called? A turnover? Yeah. And is that what it's called?
Like when you like lose. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, sorry. They called a turnover on me, and you know what I did? A
What?
cartwheel. I thought they were telling
Yes.
me to turn over.
Wait. Stop. We're sharing a brain start now. When I first started playing for my first basketball team, Riverside Hawks, shout out. I was like the girl doing handstands and stuff during. I swear, like you could fact check me with my teammates. Ooh, it says master. You fact check me with my teammates. I literally like, and they would like make fun of me for it. Like I'd be doing like spins like, when I first started.
You get it, because this is all a game to me. Like, what?
No, I was like, I started in like 7th or 8th grade and I was so bad. Like I was there for defense. Like I was like, yeah, like I'll guard your best player. Like then on offense, liability, useless. I was like a chair on offense to start. I got pretty good. But yeah, no, it was like I definitely was not a natural.
No,
Definitely.
nothing about that was natural at all. I was there to look cute, and I always rolled my shorts up, so I had like a
Yes,
little,
tucked them in.
you know, like I was so unserious about basketball. I remember I showed up to a game one time. I only had one shoe. I literally was so unserious. So all this to say, I'm really happy we found our lanes because like that just was not. Maybe that could have been it, but there was just so much more. So I love that. That's so funny. Not us. We'll need to pull pics of you doing handstands and me doing a cartwheel on the court.
Dude, I'm sure I could probably find it. It was like so funny. Like I'm actually surprised that like I stuck with it because I was so bad for so long and like I just was not taking things like I literally you actually unlocked a memory talking about like that is so crazy.
Gosh, I'm happy to unlock. I know there's a lot of like repression I think happening in my mind of like how bad I was. Like I think back and I'm like, I mean, I was okay, but like thinking about the cartwheel, the shoe, I'm like, I really was not serious.
The turnover.
The turnover, like it just really wasn't cute. It was, and you know what I think it was too? I think like, you know, we don't see our brothers as famous. They're our brothers. And like, so because my brother like reached such high heights and like, you know, as I was going through school, he was like just unlocking new levels, it felt like every day. I was like, oh, like it almost felt easy in my mind. Like, sure, I saw, like, I know there's so much work happening. I know there's all these things, but it was like, I can do this too. It felt more accessible. And so I think I overlooked, because of the proximity, I overlooked, no, Jordan, like you need to get your butt up and work. I wasn't about to do that. So that's just that. Wow. We talked about a lot of stuff. Ella, you're incredible. I guess I just want to wrap with like, obviously you have so much wisdom, so much guidance. Like, I just think for maybe for some of our listeners who are just inspired by like how you are just owning your redirection and you're owning like your passions and like you're not limiting yourself to one thing, like what would be the advice you give others to really just reclaim what's theirs, reclaim their identity, and like walk in that every day? Because I think you do such a good job of it.
I'll lead with the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. I feel like I'm at my happiest right now and I'm just focusing on myself.
Yeah.
I think like we discussed earlier, like you can't stress over things that like you can't control, just like focusing on like what you control. And I feel like, I don't know, like now that I'm doing that, I just like, I'm in like a constant state of contentment. Like I feel like there aren't as like life is like, my mom's always like, life's always ebbs and flows, like never get too high, never get too low. And like I feel like that's like a great kind of thing to live by, and that kind of informs like my perception of myself. Like I think I've done the best that I can with you know, like the resources around me, and I'm very grateful for the resources around me. Um, but yeah, it's just like do the best you can and like
Yeah.
try and have fun. Like this is another little tangent, but like pick up hobbies. Like I feel like hobbies, like
Mm.
it's like a really like just like enjoy life. Like do things
Yeah.
that make you happy. Like focus on like what you control and like don't compare yourself to other people like ever.
It's as simple
It's a
as
bad
that.
yeah.
Literally, all I could think about while you were talking was the Mariah Carey, you know, when she's like drunk in the club. She's like, I'm gonna do what I can with what I got. That's
Yeah.
literally what you're saying right now. So
Exactly. She said it better, but exactly.
no, it's so good. And I think I love when people practice what they preach. And I think you're a prime example of that. So I personally cannot thank you enough for coming on. I will see you all the time. I obviously love together. I stand all of you. And I told you before this, like I'm here for you in like whatever way I can be. But I think you're crushing it.
Thank you, girl. You're the best. I love this show.
Thank you, Ella. You're a queen. All right, y'all. We'll see you later. Bye.
Yay! I mean, I told you Ella is amazing. She's beauty and she's brains, but she's so much more, and she's so multifaceted and just incredible. I feel like we covered so much ground in that interview, and we still could have covered 30 more miles worth of ground. So maybe we'll just have to circle back. I don't even know. But Ella, thank you so much for coming on. I really, um, I never take for granted like the vulnerability that guests bring to Do I Know You. Like it's a very scary thing to come up on camera and like talk about something that like, I don't know, just naturally faces so much scrutiny and judgment. But she did it flawlessly and she did it beautifully. And I just so appreciate that. I think it brings so much depth to the show. And I literally was just reminded and healed so much from our conversation about redirection. Like, I think redirection is such a beautiful thing, as Ella spoke about, because it's very easy to become discouraged because nothing in life is linear, right? And I think, like, even right now, I'm kind of going through a season, like, in my life where I'm just like, ugh, like, I don't know, like, what is going on? But this conversation was just a beautiful reminder for me that like everything's always working out in my favor. And that's just for you too. It's always working out for your good. That's biblical. Like that's literally law. Don't play with that. You can't fight law. So I don't know. I'm encouraged. I hope all of you are encouraged. If you're in a season of rejection and redirection right now, just know that something's on the other side of that. For her, it was together. For her, it was writing and like all the things like MMA. And for you, you never know what it will be. So keep your eyes on the lookout and your ears ready, and stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Not to sound like a man on his own podcast, but you know. With that, I think we're gonna wrap. I hope you learned and loved, and go check out Ella. I will tag her socials, but make sure you like and you share and tell me your fave thing. And yeah, I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. I love you so much. I'm rooting for you. I'm on your side. And yeah, I really think that things are going to look very beautiful in your life very soon. Mwah. Cheers to you. Bye.
But how are you feeling about like school starting, summer ending? Like, what's the oh my gosh! Do you
Did it just
see
break?
this? Oh my gosh! I'm literally gonna cry right now to start over.